darkness and into the light comes your horoscope on this dark and stormy night. Push 666 for your horoscope now.
Welcome. If you're listening to this, it means you've made a grave mistake.
君にも見える？それは見えるよね。あれはあそこにちゃんと存在してるんだから。
Hey everybody, welcome back to Cadaver Chatter. It is me, Delicate Cadaver, again with a very special guest, and that is Glitchwitchdotjpg.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Hi, thank you again for agreeing to doing this with me. I am so excited to talk about this with you. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Yeah, it's the day after Thanksgiving, so I'm just in rest and relaxation mode.
No, I definitely felt that because I've just been rotting all day.
Yeah. Me too. Right there with you.
Yeah, but I've been looking forward to this. So today, the episode theme is we're going to talk about horror movies that have utilized technology to either tell the story or just it plays a big part of the story. And we both chose films. I think I chose two, but I'm open to talking about others. And then I know you chose two or three of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I chose three.
You chose three of them?
Yeah, I have three.
Okay, sick. So, there's really no order that we're gonna do these, and these movies aren't necessarily top tier, Oscar-winning films. These are movies that are fun, that saw an opportunity to utilize technology and just go with it, or they were doing something completely unique at the time. And of course, we can't touch on all of them. Okay, I'm gonna feed off your energy like a little leech for a second. So if you want, you can start, and then we'll go
absolutely.
from there.
So the first one that I picked is honestly one of my favorite internet horror movies, because I specialize in my content in internet horror content, meaning creepypastas, analog horror, pretty much any web-based horror. But there's definitely movies and TV and novels and stuff that deal with horror based on the internet. So they're a weird reverse form of internet horror. And that movie is Pulse, which is a Japanese movie that came out in 2001. And I just love this movie. I've seen it probably 3 or 4 times at this point, and it always still scares the heck out of me. And the premise of this movie is ghosts are using the internet to trap people in their own loneliness, and they essentially just I shouldn't spoil movies, I guess, but that's the basic premise. It's ghosts trying to suck people into the ghostly realm through the internet. So it's this weird, almost ahead of its time take on the internet being an antisocial platform, essentially. So many people now are aware of that, and talk about the socialization issues that Gen Alpha has because they grew up on the internet, whereas millennials and Gen Z kind of had that hybrid where they weren't constantly on screens the way that Gen Alpha is. But, this movie coming out in 2001 was really ahead of the curve at a time when the internet was still kind of unknown and this really cool, new frontier, and people were viewing it as more of a happy, positive thing. So it's almost kind of scary that this movie was such a prediction for where we would end up, that it is such a kind of pit of antisocial behavior. And I'm one that tries to defend the internet still, saying it is a great place for socialization and for connection. It's just how you go about it. You and I, we're on opposite coasts. We met online, and I love talking to you, even if it's just through Instagram DMs. So
no, honestly, same here. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still golden pockets on the internet, but I'm not going to deny that there's not a problem with it, removing face-to-face connections, especially for younger people. So I just think it's interesting that, in 2001, the internet was like mainstream enough that like a lot of people were using it, but it was still mysterious enough that it could be kind of scary. But I like that they kind of fully committed to it being kind of almost like an anti-internet message so early on. And it's pretty, as far as like compared to like my next example that I'll talk about a little later, it's pretty subtle. Like it's not over the top. It's very classic, late 90s, early 2000s J horror. I would compare it to like Ringu and films like that. So it's very slow burn, very creepy, and very different from my other favorite early 2000s internet horror movie, which you are aware of because I made a video about it, fear.com, which is kind of everything that this movie is not, because there's not a subtle bone in fear.com's body.
No, and the thing with Pulse though is that, or J horror in general, I feel like they can create the environment so well when it comes to scare, like creating a scare, or just the eeriness of the scenes. Because I have seen Pulse. It's been a minute since I've watched it, but I remember how creepy it was. Just the depiction of the ghost, or just like how everything looked, like the graininess and like the use of like the black spaces and stuff. Like oof, it didn't have
Absolutely.
to use a lot of like jump scare effect. It was just creepy in its own way, and that's what I really liked about it when I had seen it.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. It's like there's always something lurking. And that's my favorite type of horror, is when you don't really, you don't know when you're actually going to get scared, and you get more stressed out waiting for the scare that may never come. Like I love Skinamarink. I'm a Skinamarink fan.
Oh, me too. I love it.
Thank God, I'm so glad, because I know that's very divisive, but that's kind of the ultimate, like, is anything ever gonna happen? But I'm still, peeing my pants waiting for something to maybe or maybe not happen.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just say real quick, Skinamarink, it is a hot take for sure, but I love what it was trying to do for the time that it came out. It made, let me just say real quick, Skinamarink, when I was watching it, I was uncomfortable the whole time, because it was like a movie version of what my dreams used to feel like when I was a kid.
Yep.
And I try to tell that to people who don't like it. I'm like, it's okay if you don't like it, but recognize that what it's doing for what it is. Because it's definitely a slow burn movie. It's definitely like, if you don't understand what's happening, you're not going to get the plot. Like you're not going to understand what's going on. And I just think it's not necessarily a movie with plot. It's like a movie of feelings, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
yeah, and
yeah. So I definitely am on the train of I liked the movie.
Good, I'm glad. And not to derail even more, but I claim Skinamarink as internet horror because Kyle Edward Ball, who directed it, he started on YouTube with a YouTube channel called Bite Size Nightmares. So it's exactly what you're talking about. He would have people submit their nightmares and their dreams, and then he would film them. And that whole YouTube channel is essentially proof of concept for Skinamarink. Well, for Heck, which is the short film version of Skinamarink, and then later Skinamarink. So that's why he literally put like years into trying to understand how to film people's like realistic nightmares. So that's why he's so effective at capturing that feeling.
Yes, and it works so well. Like, a lot of people were walking out of the theater when I went to go see it, and I was just like, I don't think they understand the assignment. Like, I don't think they understand what's happening, and that's okay. But for the people who do, they're gonna love it.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was a quick small little derail there, but
yeah,
it counts. It counts because it's utilizing the device that, like, it does have an analog horror feel to it, and I really enjoyed it. So just watch it with a different eye, a different view, please.
Absolutely, yes.
But yeah, Pulse is such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you check that movie out. I guess this is my turn to go into
Yes,
the one I
yes.
chose. I chose 2006's PG-13 horror movie, Stay Alive. It's a video game horror movie, and I don't say this about a lot of films, but I believe that it should be remade because I think they were definitely onto something for being 2006. I mean, we had just not that online gaming was introduced, because online gaming had been a thing for a while, but it was starting to become more accessible for people. So you had games like Resident Evil 4 out with as far as like horror games go. You had Fear. You had Silent Hill 4 had already come out. You had The Suffering. So like horror gaming was coming out and people were starting to enjoy it more. It was becoming more popular. And then the online communities were starting to grow with like the PlayStation Online, Xbox Live was coming out and was starting to become more popular. When Stay Alive came out, it was like I don't know, it was just the perfect thing to me. I don't know if it's because I was young when it came out and it just resonated with me because I love to get video games, but it was like imagine playing a horror game where if you died in the game, you would die in real life the way you died in the game. There was an entity that was attached to the game that would come out and hunt you down in real life as well. And that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. So I thought that was so fun and so cool. And just the way that they utilized the like the controller vibrations, there was even like little things in the background that if you were looking in the background, you saw it. And that wasn't very common at the time for horror in the early 2000s. There's the face of the enemy that's in the video game is just like in the shadows in the back. And it wasn't until later on that I noticed it. And I was like, damn, that's a fucking game changer right there. Like that wasn't happening at the time. So watching Stay Alive, I even now, like I'm like, damn, we need a remake of this movie. Somebody has to do it, but it can't just be anybody. It has to be somebody who knows about video games and loves horror movies to the point where they'll knock it out of the park. And this movie got fucking, was it 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb, but Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 12%. So I felt like you when you did Fear.com and you were like, is this the rating on Rotten Tomatoes? And I just don't think it deserves that. I definitely think it needs more love and appreciation for what it was trying to do. And there have been other horror movies that have come out. I think Netflix did one. I didn't see it. So it's not only that, like for what it was doing at the time, I think it also utilized technology that we have now, like voice recognition and like the character customizations in the game. It was even like introducing like PC gaming as well, like how you could play online games on your laptop and shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm easy to please, but it needs more attention. And if you've never seen this movie before, I cannot recommend it enough. It just has a special place in my heart, and somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. It can't be me because I'm poor and I'm not I'm not inclined enough to make a movie, but it's got to happen.
We'll bring you on as a producer. You'll be the not the money producer, but just the passion producer.
Put my name in like tiny writing at the bottom or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Now I've never seen this movie, but hearing you talk about it, I like want to run and go watch it the second we're done recording this because it sounds sick. And I am a fellow easy to please person, as evidenced by the fact that I think Fear.com is a good movie. But I think this sounds so cool, and I think you're right. Like a remake sounds really interesting, just because like online gaming has changed so much since this movie came out. There's so much you could do with it to make it almost like not a completely different movie, like keep the premise obviously, but they could kind of coexist. It wouldn't be like a remake replacing it. It would just be kind of a revisiting of the subject, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah, and it just, because gaming at the time too, while it was starting to become easily accessible, I don't think there were people out there who thought of gaming as cool. Like I still think that, like, because I would still get bullied as a kid playing video games. They're like, "Oh, you're a loser. Like, go outside." Like,
Yeah, exactly. And I think movies, like, that's probably why the movie wasn't taken super seriously when it came out, because it's like, oh, well, it's just a stupid, like, video game movie. You know, they're not going to take it seriously as, like, an actual scary thing, because not enough people were experiencing, video games in a daily way the way that we do these days. Like, I love video games now, and I had a PlayStation 2 when I was a kid that I loved. But there was a long period from when I was like my whole teenage years where I was like, well, I'm not gonna game anymore. Like, that's dumb. Like, I fell victim to
I am
this
too cool
societal
for video
gaming is
games.
dumb trend. And I was not. I was absolutely not. I would have been a much more enjoyable person to be around probably if I just let myself enjoy video games. So now I've spent the past 6 years catching up on 15 years of gaming. But yeah, it was definitely not mainstream in the way that it is now, so it would be interesting just to see. You could do so much with it, and just the way that like co-op gaming has changed. You used to, in 2006 you were more likely to play with your friend in the living room. Now you play with 10 people that you've never met in real life but you talk to every day online. Like, there's a lot you could play off of there character wise. I think it'd be really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. And it just a general, like, I guess, intro to the movie is the main character's best friend was a beta tester for video games. And the last game that he was playing was a game called Stay Alive, and before he died, and he ends up receiving the game as a gift from his family, because I mean his family are like, oh, well, we don't play games, and I know he would have wanted you to have them. So it happens there. Like, they discover that this game is a lot more than what it leads on to be, and just weird things start happening. And that's just all I'm gonna say about that.
Ooh, yeah, I have to go watch this.
Yeah.
This sounds great.
It's fun for a PG-13 movie. I think, yeah, watch it. And you gotta let me know what you think about it if you watch it.
Yeah, no, you'll be the first to know. And then if I like it, I'm gonna get all my friends to watch it. And we're gonna get that score on IMDb and on Rotten Tomatoes up. Boots on the ground. That's my whole life now. I'm just gonna try to get loved horror movies slightly higher on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb.
We're gonna start a group of people who are just gonna do God's work on
Exactly.
Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb.
Exactly. There are angels among us, and they are giving 10 stars to Stay Alive in Fear.com.
Alright, I want to hear about your next one. What else you got?
Okay, so my next one is a little horror movie called Unfriended. Which I feel like is, I love Unfriended, but I recognize the flaws that come with Unfriended. But the big thing about Unfriended is it was like the first mainstream Screen Life horror movie that I feel like came out in theaters. And Screen Life films, for anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's just a movie that completely takes place on a computer, phone, or tablet screen. It never breaks the immersion of that. And the premise of Unfriended is that a group of friends are hanging out on Zoom. It's not even Zoom, because it was before Zoom was mainstream. It's like generically Skype, I think. I don't think they use the Skype name. And a ghost of a girl that was bullied at their high school joins the chat, and chaos ensues from there. So it's like a weird, like 20 teens anti-cyberbullying horror movie. I don't think it does a great job at trying at like having a sincere anti-cyberbullying message, even though I think the directors maybe thought that they really were doing that. But it has some gnarly kills in it, and it does commit to the whole Screen Life thing. So as much as I don't think it's even the best Screen Life, like I think movies that came after it definitely improved on it. I even like the Unfriended sequel better, and then Host that came out during the pandemic was a huge one. I think that Host kind of handles the premise of like there's a ghost in the Zoom call a little bit better. It's a little simpler, and it's a little like actually kind of creepy and scary to me, whereas Unfriended is kind of like more like violent, like kind of scary, like they're kind of gross kills. But like I feel like we have to give Unfriended its flowers for really giving screen life to the mainstream. And it's kind of cool because since Unfriended came out, there's been non-horror screen life films, or not traditional horror, at least, with the movie Searching that came out a few years ago. That's more like a thriller where a guy's looking for his missing child, and it's just, you see like his text messages and emails, and he's like tracking her location and stuff like that. So it is interesting, the thought of that. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat's feeder is coming off in the background, so if you hear a muffled noise, that's what that is.
It's okay.
He's looking at it, but he's not. He's too lazy to go and eat his dinner. But there'll be another one in a second because I have 2 cats and they're on a slight delay. But I think there's a lot of promise to screen life because we are on the computer and our phones so much. Like I think there's a lot of different stories you could tell. But horror is that genre that I feel like is always going to take the risks with these kind of new formats, and I think that's why we're even able to talk about all these, because horror is always kind of the launching ground for these different, experimental either ways of storytelling or just subject matter for storytelling. Like, you weren't going to get a, dramatic film in 2006 about horror video games or about online video games. You're going to get a horror movie because they can kind of freak it a little bit more. And I feel like that's very much what Unfriended did for screen life, and I think it'll expand from there. But yeah, I don't think Unfriended is the best movie ever, but I appreciate its contributions to cinema.
No, I felt that. I actually kind of liked the second one. I went to go see the second one in theaters, and I think it was a lot better than the first one. I love that they did 2 different endings for it. I guess if you saw it in theater one day, it was one ending, and then if you saw it in another theater, like another day, it was different or something like that.
That's super cool.
I didn't know that there was different ones until later, so I was like, what?
Yeah, me neither. I didn't know until I think I saw it with my husband, then boyfriend, and his brother, and I think his brother had Googled it afterwards or something and was like, there are multiple endings and like they're in theaters, because at first sometimes you hear like, oh, there's multiple endings, oh, maybe it's like there'll be a director's cut, like the studio wanted one thing, the director wanted one thing, but no, it's like they literally put multiple endings in theaters, which I feel like you do not see a lot. Like, I don't think it's the only thing to do it, but it's certainly not the norm. So I do think that's really cool, and I think that one's more effective because it's not like there's a ghost in the Zoom call. It's like more about like the dark web and like shady people on the internet, so it feels more like realistic scary.
Yeah, I think that's why I liked it, because the dark web is definitely something like that people hear about, but are either too scared to look into it themselves, or they just I don't know, they just never had the opportunity to figure out what the dark web really is. So like when you see movies that are depicting it, you're like, oh my god, what if that's really out there? What would we expect? Like, what's gonna happen? And there's a movie now where people just fuck around and find out, and they start getting killed one by one.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, the different ending things is really cool. Another movie that does that, and it's not related, so it's a little bit of a derail, but 1408 did that. 1408 did it to where, like, the hotel burns down, and I'm sorry, I'm spoiling it. It's been years. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I think the time has definitely run out on that one. I think we're safe.
Yeah, so 1408 did that, where like there was either a funeral scene where you know, John Cusack's character's in the back seat, and then there's another one where John Cusack survives the experience he has in the hotel, and he writes his book about it, and he discovers the tape recorder he had, and his daughter's talking to him in the tape recorder, and the wife like is shocked. So I thought
Oh wow.
that was cool. And I have the DVD, and the DVD has both endings, and I'm like, I can't believe I would have never known this other ending existed.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love movies need to get more experimental.
Yeah, and I think
It's
the way,
fun.
yeah, and I think Unfriended did that perfectly because, like, what do you do when you watch a movie and if you don't see it with somebody, you know, you watch it on your own and you go talk about it and they're like, what? My movie didn't end that way. Like, that's cool. I like that.
Absolutely.
So, technology is just a crazy thing. It's crazy. But we gotta step back into time a little bit and back to 1988. You know, we got 976 Evil as my second one. Now, 976 Evil, I'm telling you right now, if you are a serious horror fan and you don't like camp, you don't like Robert Englund, how dare you? I mean, I hope you like Robert Englund.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, Robert Englund, he did a little movie called 976 Evil in 1988, and it is fun. I mean, I keep saying fun, but that's the only thing. It's exciting. It's different. It's unique. It's silly. It's cool. It's cool. So 976 Evil utilized the whole hotline thing that was going on in the 80s. You know, like call 1-800-BABE if you want to talk to some hotties right now. Like, and then you pick up you get through, and it's like, hey, how's it going? You know, and then you just got charged what, like $1 a minute. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they took advantage of that idea and just turned it into a nice, fun, slashy slasher campy horror movie. It has Stephen Jeffries in it. So if you're not familiar with who Stephen Jeffries is, he plays Evil Ed in Fright Night, and Fright Night is one of my favorite movies, and Evil Ed is one of my favorite characters in that movie. So when I discovered it, when I discovered 976 Evil, I fell in love with it. I loved the 80s camp, and it did have a lot of, I guess what Robert Englund did with Freddy, how he brought like a humorous like one-liners to everything that Freddy did in the 80s, and he brought that into this movie with Stephen Jeffries' character. And it was just like a different play on the whole nerdy loner guy who can't get a date, can't do anything, but he finds friendship with the devil and this hotline, and it goes south. He starts going after his bullies, and he wants to be cool like his cousin Spike, and his mom's always on his ass, and it's a lot of different things that happen in it. You know, you got boobies, you got horror movies, you got Jesus, I just think it's a fun film to watch if you like 80s campy horror movies. And I mean, Robert Englund made it, dude. Like, if that's not the selling point, I don't know what else to tell you. If you've never seen it before, I mean, there's a Deftones song named after it, but it has nothing to do with the movie. So it's just a cool song to listen to. It has nothing to do with the movie, though. Sorry.
But they know that the movie exists, right?
Yeah.
So it's in some way its existence led to that song, right?
Yeah. And so this nerd discovers this horoscope card. It's called a horoscope card. So you call it, and it's like, press 666 for your horoscope. And I guess like you get a fortune read to you by this creepy like demon guy, and he pretty much tells you the future. So like if you do what he says or like follow his advice, you'll get what you want at a price. And Hoax ends up discovering it, and the demon is like, oh my god, this guy's vulnerable. Let's use him and steal his soul and murder people.
I also love that his name is Hoax. Like, that's so fun in and of itself. Like, Robert Englund, the man that you are. the royalty that you are. I love it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool 80s movie, and I discovered it as a teenager, and I had a blast watching it, and I just, it needs to be talked about more. I mean, I don't know how popular it is now, but I thought it was cool that they took the whole hotline thing and had fun with it.
Yeah, and that's another example of like really, it's a snapshot in time. Like at the time that they made it, I'm sure it was like, oh yeah, this is that thing that's, everywhere, whatever. But now we look back on it and it's like that's such a good, way, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like time capsule of like this phenomenon that's pretty much completely dead these days, but it was such a big part of American culture. So that's why I like that these movies, these that are utilizing like period specific technology get made, because it's the only way that some of these things that are considered like less important culturally can be preserved, because really anything that was a part of our culture is important and should be preserved. And that's like one of my whole things about why I love internet horror, because it's a community that's been online pretty much since the internet started, so there's a lot of stuff to follow that kind of shows how internet culture has evolved. And it's another thing that people just don't take super seriously and want to preserve the way that fancy works of art are preserved. So I love all these movies for existing, because they give us that snapshot that I think is really important.
Yes, and internet preservation is just something I wish we could do. Like, there's games that I used to play on the internet that are long gone now because of the death of Flash Player and stuff like that. And like just to name a few, we got the My Chemical Romance game, which there is still.
Yes!
The My Chemical Romance game is still out there. I've seen it. I've played it. It's still alive. It's on y8.com. Play it there. There's the Atreyu game.
Thank God.
The Atreyu game is still alive. You get to cut off teddy bear heads and stuff like that. It's so fun and silly. But there's another one. There's a couple of them. There's a Courage the Cowardly Dog game I used to play on Game Brew, and it was like a point and click game where you could collect different items to save Muriel, because she's in the basement being like, she was captured by that full moon guy. I don't know. It was just like a fun flash game I used to play. And then there was another one that was on this website for the N. I don't know if you know what the N is, but it used to be like where they played Degrassi. They used to play Degrassi, Instant Star, like all that stuff. They used to have a website, and it was like an online community where you could hang out with people and like play games online and stuff. And there was a game on there, and it was called Slasher. And it was like if there was one person who was the slasher, and you were all just in a chat log talking, and it's like a summer camp theme. So like you would be a counselor, or you'd be just a camper, and you'd have to find out who the slasher was, and then you could kill people as a slasher, and they would just be removed from the chat. It was really cool.
I love that.
Yeah, and you can't find it anywhere. There's people who talk about it still, but you can't find it anywhere. So rest in peace to that.
Makes me sad.
Yeah. Then there's also movies. Movies at the time used to utilize the internet to promote, obviously to promote the film, and they would come with little flash games sometimes, or like they would come with games that helped you unlock bonus content for the movie. Like White Noise did it, Dead Silence did it, who else did it? One Missed Call did it. One Missed Call was my favorite one as far as like the internet website like game thing went, because I just thought like the cover for One Missed Call was creepy. Watching the movie now though, I was like, oh my god, this movie's really bad. But like the use of the monsters, like the creatures in the movie was cool. You used to be able to connect the voicemails together, and you had to like create the correct voicemail to unlock the death scene of the person who was so recorded cool. for. They have some like surviving like web pages of the movie websites, at least on the Wayback Machine. I found some, and I miss it. What a time it was. I should have savored it more.
I know, we didn't know what we had.
No, we didn't.
they're trying to do it these days, but it's just not the same. Like Neon Pictures is a big one that they love to try to do like a little ARG website tie-in. Like they did one with Longlegs, they did one with Shelby Oaks, and Shelby Oaks made sense because that started as an ARG. It's just not like the design sensibility isn't there anymore. Like I miss the kind of shittily designed web pages. Like everything's just white and boring nowadays. So I appreciate the trying, but it'll never be the same. And then I always, whenever one of those shows up, I don't think anyone really watches the videos, but I screen record and go through the entire thing just so there is a preserved, if someone in 30 years wants to know what the Longlegs website looks like, they can. And so, the Wayback Machine could be down. I'm always scared of it going away.
Oh my god, me
At least
too.
my YouTube will go up.
Yeah. Ugh, man. I miss it. I need a time machine right now.
I know.
So, we've got Pulse, Unfriended. What do you have another movie you wanted to show
I have
us?
one more. Yeah, and it's I actually watched it on the Internet Archive.
What?
Speaking of the Wayback Machine. And this one, I'm sorry to everyone, I'm gonna have to inherently spoil this film. It's not even a film, it's a TV special. Because I can't talk about it without spoiling it, but also like the second that you look at, there's no way you can engage with it without it being spoiled, essentially. Like the original, it was a one-time event. Like if you weren't there, you weren't gonna get the full scope of it, and I wasn't even born when it happened yet, so it's not like I was there. I'm speaking purely off of knowing everything about it. But that is Ghostwatch, which was a 1992 BBC live broadcast that aired on Halloween. And the technology at play here is literally just broadcast television. And the premise of this was real BBC news correspondents, Michael Parkinson and Sarah Green, were running a special Halloween broadcast about a family who was being haunted by a ghost named Pipes. And it seems very normal at first. Like it cuts between Michael in the sound stage back at the broadcast station, and then Sarah on site with the family that has Pipes in their house. And they try to show that it's a hoax, but weird things keep happening, and like viewers were calling in and saying, I don't think they're safe in that house, like something is seriously off. And essentially they find out that because all the cameras are on, this ghost Pipes used this like mass broadcast as a way to possess every home that was watching the broadcast. And it ended with it appearing that Michael Parkinson, who is like a beloved BBC correspondent, being possessed by this ghost. And it was presented that it was 100% real. It was actively happening, and people freaked out. And it was like the biggest widespread like media hoax since Orson Welles had done War of the Worlds on the radio. But this added level of it being TV and being these people that you trust to deliver you factual news made it like even worse. And it got to the point that like there was studies done that showed that people got PTSD from the broadcast, mostly kids and elderly people that were kind of didn't understand it as much. And then unfortunately someone actually took their own life.
Oh no.
A young man that had a developmental disability. It like really freaked him out, and he got so scared that the ghost was actually in his house that that's what his parents claim. That was why he took his own life. So it was one of those things of like, is this ethical to play the trick on so many people? Like it's such a being removed from it, I'm like, this is so cool, like they tricked everyone. But then when you think of the ethics of it, it's like really messed up. And I mean, War of the Worlds was the same thing. People were panicking that the world was actually going to end. So I feel like we can't do that these days. Like everyone is so high strung because of just the world that we live in, that if someone tried to do something like this, A, no one would believe it because we're real quick to be like, that's fake. But B, if it was believable, people would just like, there would be nuclear bombs set off or something.
Yeah,
we
like,
can't
oh.
handle that level of hoax. But I just think it's crazy, and it never aired again. Like I don't know. I think it's streaming now on like Shudder and like Tubi and stuff. But back when I watched it, like pre-pandemic, it was only available on the Internet Archive because I literally think the BBC was like kind of embarrassed about it, which I get, but it's kind of like broadcast history in a weird way. So while my other two examples didn't really have any real world repercussions, this one kind of did.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. I've heard of the Japanese one. It's like a TV show, like a news, where they go into this asylum or this haunted school, and I think it was just like a fun, like, creepy video that circulated online.
Okay, that's cool.
But I've never heard of Ghostwatch before. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's really fun too. Like, I definitely recommend checking it out and just like watching it, going and knowing, that it was presented as actually happening. I think they do a really good job pulling it off. Like, even as someone who doesn't have the buy-in of believing it was real, like I can see why people did. But it's one of those things where it's like, is that type of storytelling worth it in any facet? Like, it's a really cool experimental thing to do, but you have obviously the ethical concerns, and then the shelf life of it is pretty much non-existent, because the second that it's discovered it was not real, you can't ever replicate that. And you could argue that found footage movies kind of suffer from the same thing, but I would argue that the shelf life for believing a found footage movie that's truly believable, like a Blair Witch Project or something, was a lot longer than, literally Ghostwatch. It was like within 48 hours, everyone in England knew that it was a hoax, because essentially, the BBC had to make a statement. Whereas, Blair Witch Project isn't affecting people on a personal level like that was. It was more just, the unknown of, are these kids alive? Like, what really happened? And so I think that's like it just has that longer, realistically scary shelf life. So that's why I feel like you get more found footage than this weird, almost like unfiction hoax thing. It's just kind of, as cool as it can be, it's not worth all of the negatives.
Yeah, the panic and like hysteria that can ensue.
Exactly.
That's so cool. I'd never heard of that before, and it is true, because like, especially older people, I think they're more susceptible to believing something like that, and they're more gullible, I guess, or most old people are. When it comes to,
look at just with all the AI stuff.
Yes, like there's times where, and I hate to call them out, but sometimes my dad will be watching YouTube videos, and like, it's a video of someone talking, but there's an AI voiceover over it, and I'm like, Dad, that's not a real person. And he's like, it isn't? I'm like, Dad, that's AI. He's like, oh, I was wondering why he said something so weird. I was like, Dad, no, don't believe that man. It's a lie.
You're helping him. You're teaching him.
And it's strange. Like, just technology in general is just so scary. And with AI, it's getting to the point now where we're like, is that real? That video, like, there's just something about it that your eyes are like, that doesn't look right, and you're like, it's AI. But what if it gets so advanced to the point where we're like, I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's AI or not. Is it real?
Yeah, it's scary. It's super scary, and it's just like, I mean, like, I feel like the joke recently has been that, like, and it's not a horror movie, but now it feels like the movie with Joaquin Phoenix, like, did kind of predict exactly what we're in, because you see these people that are genuinely having like full-on romantic relationships with AI chatbots, and it's like, that's exactly what happened in that movie. Like, it's and that was like very much, I think they weren't like, oh, we're not headed this way, this is a dramatization, like, I'm just using this, to tell my own story. But it's like, oh no, it's happening already.
Yeah, and it's just scary. Like, just how fast everything has changed and how much it is continuing to change. Um, Damn. Yeah, fuck AI, by the way. Sorry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you.
Create shit
I
on
don't
your
like
own,
her.
and if you can't do it, hire somebody to do it for you, because I'm sure more love and passion's gonna go into it.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? Even if you think you're not good at it or you can't do it, try it. You gotta practice. You never know what you
Mhm.
could end up making.
Mhm. Ah, these are some good picks, and of course there are a lot more other films out there. Honorable mentions, of course, like Sinister, using the whole
Yeah.
Super 8 film. I mean, I know how you feel about Ethan Hawke, and I think Ethan Hawke is so great in that movie. Um, but just I think future filmmakers and creatives are utilizing a lot of our technology and using it to tell a crazy, creepy, unsettling story. And I don't know if I'm gonna get tired of it. I don't. I mean, I love me a good found footage horror film, and I think maybe like we're gonna see more um, analog horror. I think in the future, the near future, because it is so popular right now. I mean, we got the
Mhm.
Backrooms movie coming soon too. um, which I'm trying to understand. Maybe you can explain it to me. Like the backrooms is kind of scary, but I don't know what is it that you feel about the backrooms that is genuinely like terrifying.
Yeah, so for me, the back rooms, it's not like it's kind of like a skimmering thing to me where it's more a feeling that it gives you. It's that, and I hate to use the word because it's so overused on the internet, but liminal horror, the space that shouldn't exist, the space that you shouldn't be in, that you kind of feel like you are invading, and it's just the vast emptiness of it. And almost, I personally am a fan of when there's not a monster in the back rooms, which there definitely will be in the film because it's based on Kane Pixel's Backroom series where there is like an entity. But I think just like being trapped essentially in like a confusing maze that you can't get out of, and like the claustrophobia of it is what's scary to me, and that's certainly not going to scare everyone.
Mhm.
And I totally get why some people aren't scared by that at all, because I am very much a like feeling and like build up of dread horror lover, and a lot of internet horror is like that, just because a lot of people making it don't have a lot of resources. A lot of times they are creating it just on their computer or with flat JPEGs or limited resources. And I mean that's the crazy thing about everything that Kane Pixels does, who did the famous Backroom series, who's directing the Backrooms movie for A24. Everything he does is done in Blender and After Effects, which is kind of unreal. I personally, he has another series called The Oldest View, that is also liminal horror, but I prefer that to the Backrooms. So if you're not super keen on the Backrooms, but you're kind of like, what's the deal with all this? I would check out The Oldest View. I think it kind of does it better, and it's kind of his own thing. Whereas the Backrooms, is very much kind of like Slender Man, where it just belongs to the internet on the whole, and has had so many different, versions and different lives. But I'm excited about the Backrooms movie, especially because they let him direct it. And I know A24 just wanted the gimmick of like he's the youngest director ever, but I do think he's genuinely talented. So I hope it's working out and they actually let him direct it, and it's not like a they're just saying he directed it kind of thing. I hope they let him actually do it.
Yeah. Well, see, okay. I see it in a different light now because before I'm like, okay, you're in this room, all right, like what now? But like when you put yourself
Yeah.
in that situation, I understand more now. Like, dude, I'd be freaking out. I'm like, everywhere I go, it looks the same. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do to get out of here.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, you have to be good like as to be a filmmaker that can do like liminal horror, you have to be good at pacing and, staging and all of that because otherwise it does just feel kind of like, okay, I'm in a room, whatever. So it's definitely a tricky thing to get right, I feel like.
All right. Well, you helped me see it a little differently. Thank you. Because I was like, I didn't understand like how it was genuinely like creepy to people or unsettling to people.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'll check out the movie when it comes out. Um, Thank you again for doing this with me. I know I said it in the beginning, but I'm saying it again. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to talk about these things with you. And after seeing that Fear.com video, I was like, I have to talk to her about these movies. Like, I want to see what she thinks about these. And I love this conversation.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much for having me. I have 2 movies to go watch that I can't wait to watch. That's I cannot wait.
I
But
know.
yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I really I had a great time, and yeah, I think this is just kind of like a underappreciated and underdiscussed, like, I don't want to say subgenre because it kind of goes through a bunch of subgenres of horror, but just aspect of horror, I guess, that I feel like people don't really acknowledge, but I think it's really neat.
Yeah. And again, I'm putting a list together of movies. And if you want me to add some, feel free to let me know after we're done here. I'll add them.
Yeah.
Uh, but what are you currently working on right now? Like, but you have your YouTube channel, which if you guys do not know, like she gave a general like intro earlier when she was talking about Pulse. So, what are you working on right now that you would love people to check out?
Yeah, so my main social media that I pour my heart into is my YouTube channel. It's glitchwitchdotjpg, and I make decently long form videos about various aspects of internet horror, whether that's analog horror, digital horror, which are very like video based horror series that are usually on YouTube, as well as creepypasta, which is like written narrative horror, and then things like alternate reality games that are based on the internet, as well as just kind of random one off internet or oddities that have cropped up around the internet over the years. So I try to look at them from like a historical and kind of analytical perspective, but I still have fun. I still make jokes and things like that. And I've been able to do a few interviews with internet horror creators. So that's my main thing to plug. But also just in general, because you mentioned, found footage, and we talk about found footage a lot. There's a streaming service that I'm really passionate about. I'm not, I don't work for them. I've done some content for them before just because I like them, but called Found TV, and they're exclusively do found footage movies on that platform, and they're really good at giving like first time filmmakers a chance, as well as collecting some, famous and iconic found footage movies like The Blair Witch Project and Be My Cat and Cannibal Holocaust. So definitely check out Found TV if you're a found footage fan like Delicate Cadaver and I are. And on Found TV, if you go there, there's a series called the McKinney Family Home Videos that I love very much, and I have worked on that. I've done art for it. I've done the posters and like the packaging design for that, and I'm a big fan of McKinney Family Home Videos. It started as an analog series on YouTube and now has been picked up by Found. So that's my evangelizing to tell everyone to go watch McKinney Family Home Videos because it's great and it's definitely spooky VHS found footage. So that's all I got.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Sorry, I had to mute halfway through because I have dogs barking in the back. But um, I'm definitely going to be linking Glitchwitch's channel, and Found TV does sound really cool. I think I might check that out myself too. So I'm probably
Yeah,
going to link that in the description as well. Um, this is such a great opportunity, and I've met Glitchwitch on the Creepcast subreddit. She made a post, and I was like, she seems so dope. And then I saw her YouTube channel. I was like, oh my god, I want to do a video with her. So maybe in the future we can talk about doing something Creepcast related because I know that was our original idea. So we'll see.
absolutely. I would love that. I'll talk Creepcast all day, every day.
Yeah,
I love them boys.
me too, me too. And I feel like there's a lot of really good episodes that have come out since our last conversation about it. So we'll see. Maybe in the future
Yeah,
we'll do something with that.
sounds good. I'm excited. Anything. I'll talk to you anytime. I love talking to you.
Thank you. I love talking to you too. I'm going to let you go now. Thank you so much again. I cannot express it enough. And please tell me what you think about those movies if you get around to seeing them. And yeah, we'll see what else we can do in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Check out Glitchwitch. Check her out. Watch the stuff. Subscribe. Subscribe to her.